Thank you, Danny. Matt Melzak joining us in studio. Matt, you had a very eventful weekend. The Fish needing 2 shootouts, but winning all 3 at home.
Hey, you know what? That was the key out of the whole thing. But yes, it was a very long weekend. And it was weird because, Toledo's 4 times now in the last 7 games has gone past regulation. And not only that, they've gone past overtime and gone to a shootout. It's impressive to see that. You wouldn't figure that's the case with a 7-minute overtime. The whole idea behind the ECHL, adding those 2 minutes on, 7 minutes of 3-on-3 hockey. It's entertaining, and frankly, all 4 of them could have ended in overtime. None of them did. The great goaltending that we have seen, and then you get into the shootouts, and the shootout is, that one-on-one. Kind of the way, if you were to have LeBron James out there, he's going to go one-on-one against somebody. You know what? That's the same thing as a shootout. And right now, Toledo, they have the goaltending that has gotten it done. Billy Christopoulos, 4 for 4. Trevor Gorsuch this past Sunday goes 3 for 3 in the shootout. So 7 of 7 from those guys defending. And that has led them to wins.
You just touched on it. Trevor Gorsuch was not stale at all coming out. He hadn't played in the ECHL since, I think you mentioned November.
That's correct.
And he came back last night and stopped 42 of 44 shots in the win.
Yeah, you know what? He was terrific. And now the caveat to that is he just was down in the Southern Professional League 2 weeks ago and played great over 3 games. So he did get 3 games in, and that kind of helped him a little bit. But, boy, you could see he's just an athletic goaltender. He makes a lot of saves, but he, as Rick Judson mentioned on the broadcast, he squares himself up so nicely to make saves. And that's key when you're athletic. A lot of times athletic goaltenders, they're flopping around a lot. They're doing things, and then, they get lost a little bit sometimes, where he is able to recover and always find a way to be square on with the shooter, with the puck. And it allows him to make some saves where pucks hit him if he's not 100% focused on it, and that is the key to goaltending. You got to be able to stop some pucks sometimes when you don't see them.
Now, Mike Moffitt, kind of the hero of yesterday's win with his shootout goal. I was not expecting to see him in the shootout.
It's interesting, and they do shootouts sometimes, time to time in practice. They try to, just at the end of practice one day, let's do a shootout. Let's just see how we do, and who does has a good move or something of that nature. Troy Loggins has certainly had that. He was stopped on Sunday. Mike Moffitt, it was kind of a gut feeling there. I think Dan Watson told you after the game on Sunday. And part of it is sometimes you go with a guy that you see has some skill, and sometimes a guy like Mike Moffitt who will come down and instead of making a whole mess of moves, will make one. And he made one. He made one little just kind of a hitch, and then he let it go back against the grain. So now the goaltender starts leaning a little bit one way, and it was able to sneak that puck through. And sometimes it's a little light move like that that can be a goal scorer's dream in the shootout, and it helps you out. We saw in the previous shootout, Mark Auck goes in against Fort Wayne, and he scored on Cole Kaler. So, another defenseman. So sometimes a D-man might have that just one subtle move, and it's enough to score.
Matt Melzak, thank you so much for joining us. As always, you can catch him tomorrow night at 10 o'clock on Ice Check.